Hi there, Gemini. Thank you so much for stopping by for your monthly detailed tarot forecast. So this forecast is going to cover the month of August, and we're going to look at it time frame by time frame. So the first time frame that we're going to take a peek at is going to be August the 1st through the 8th, and we're just going to see what comes up for you on the cards and go over that so you have a good idea about what you're looking at as you go through that particular time frame. Let me go ahead and get the cards down. If you want to go ahead and scroll through this time while I'm putting cards down, feel welcome. I do know people like to sort of witness the tarot reader working with the cards, so that's why I don't just completely pull this section out of my videos. But if you're not one of those people that needs to witness that, feel free to just zoom right past it. Okay, Gemini. So the first thing that we're going to look at for this time frame is going to be home. Well, I shouldn't say home, I should say environment. I'm in the mindset of thinking, well, it's home because of all the COVID stuff, but that's not necessarily true. So this could be home, it might be school, it might be work. So just your environment, someplace where you have energy or effort invested. Okay. So what I'm looking at whenever it comes to environment, Gemini, is it looks like there is definitely some major changes going on with environment. You could be switching environments completely, or you could be making some major changes actually literally in the environment itself. It does look like there is lots going on. There's lots to be coordinated as you're doing this. And your energy, you really run the risk of spreading your energy a little bit too thin if you aren't careful about how you coordinate everything that's on your plate when it has to do with environment during the time frame from the 1st to the 8th. Next thing that we're looking at talks to me about your subconscious leanings. You are really thinking a lot about home. Definitely. And you've got some really great ideas about what you want home to be like or where you want home to be. And you're very hopeful about making these ideas come true. And so there's a lot of subconscious focus on making some changes when it comes to home life or family life, home or family even. And you're very hopeful about this. So for some of you, this could be about the actual building that you call home. For others of you, this could be about the family that you consider your home family. So for some of you, you may be hoping to add to your family. You may be hoping to bring home a baby or hoping to propose to somebody and hoping that that goes well. For others of you, you may have some great ideas about where it is that you want to live, where it is that you want to call home, or what you want to do in your home. This to me could tie in a lot with that original environment card I saw, but it could also tie in, it could also be more about family than home itself. And so, you know, I think for some of you, this is going to be about family and inspired ideas about adding to family. And for others of you, this is going to be about home and inspired ideas about making home better. Okay, la da da da, Geminis. Let's look next at your learning style during this time frame, and then we'll look at communication style. Your learning style looks to me like you're very solid and organized. Whatever information it is that you're finding out about or that you're researching, you're very solid and organized in figuring out where to find the information that you need. And I think that you are quite successful in finding what it is that you're looking for specifically. And I think that part of your learning style, at least in this time frame, actually comes from sharing information with others. So as you're sharing your information with others, you're also picking up new information, or it's making you really think things through to a level that you haven't thought them through before. And so you're learning just by the process of doing that. Now, as far as your communication style, There is lots and lots of communication going on. A lot of this is actually prayers that you're sending out to the universe or to the divine, that you're communicating with the divine. But I do think that you do have a lot of communication that you're handling, and a lot of it is very direct and to the point. Very direct and to the point. And I also have something coming up here about that some of your communication, at least one significant conversation during this time frame, is going to be between you and another person where you're letting that other person know that they are not as important as they thought they were. I'm just going to leave it at that. Okay? La da 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 da. 1st through the 8th is when this will be happening. Alright, so next thing that we're looking at talks to me about work. And for those of you who have been watching, you already know work for me is that thing that you do to make a living or feel productive in the community. And it is also those things that we do to improve our own selves for our personal satisfaction. Okay, so I call that inner work. We're going to look at outer work first and then come back to inner work. So outer work, when it comes to making a living, it does look like things are starting to loosen up a little bit at outer work. It looks like where things might have been extremely tight before, and really like everything could have been frozen for a lot of you Geminis when it comes to work, and it could have been, you know, really, really difficult times. What we have showing up here is that things are starting to loosen up. The gears are starting to move again. Things are starting to come back to some semblance of normalcy, and there is sort of a release from all of this pressure that there was before whenever it comes to work and money. Now, let's look at inner work. There's definitely something here coming up as far as inner work about being able to rely on the people around you, having a good support network that you can actually talk to and rely on. I think that you're realizing that you can rely on them when you didn't realize that before. Maybe you never wanted to ask for anything, or maybe you never wanted to say that you could use some help or that you needed to talk or whatever. You're starting to do that, and you're starting to realize that having that support network around you is actually something that's very helpful, it's very healing, it's very comforting to you. It's a relief. I really feel like this is a relief for you to realize this. What's ironic to me here is that the support network, you've always had a support network. You just haven't counted on them like this before, and so until you really were able to count on this or count on them or needed to count on them, you really didn't know how good that support network was. Now you're seeing that. Now, it's not perfect for every single one of you, but you do have a lot of really good people in your support network. Okay, next. Let's look at that part of your personality which is being grown or expanded right now. Okay, you're getting really focused as we move through this time frame. It looks like you are taking some action on some things that make you feel really inspired and excited, that make you feel good about moving forward. And even though these things you're taking action on, you're feeling very enthusiastic about, you're also using your thinking cap here. You're making sure that you're handling things in a very logical way. You've got a lot of energy and enthusiasm about handling these things, but you are also making sure that you're not doing anything without thinking it through first. So becoming really focused about doing something to improve your life, and you're doing it very enthusiastically with a lot of energy, but making sure that it's thought through really well. We're not talking something spur of the moment just because it has a lot of energy. Okay? Now, let's see, Geminis. Next thing that we're looking at talks to me about something that you stand for during this time frame. It looks to me like there's a situation around you where somebody has really started some gossip or some backbiting type of stuff, and it's caused other people around you to be confused about who you are, or what you stand for, or what you're actually attempting to do here. And this has brought a lot of unhappiness. And it looks to me like somebody is saying to you, why is this getting to you? Why are you letting this get to you? And you're defending the idea that you're letting this get to you for whatever reason that it is getting to you. And then how this person sees you after your conversation, basically. They're seeing you as being really angry, and they're not really enjoying your company right now. I know some of you are like, well. And they see you as somebody who is really just cutting off those things that are not serving you. So they know that you mean business. They know that you're being logical about something, but they also see that there's a lot of anger here too, and it looks to me like they're concerned that the anger may be motivating things more than logic. Alrighty, next up, let's look at our pivot point during this time frame, or what it is that has us sort of changing directions as we move forward during this time frame. So it looks like there's been somebody in our lives who is very logical, but I feel like they're also a naysayer. Like every time you turn around, they're looking at all the logical reasons why something can't happen. But they have a really hard time being able to look at the logical reasons why something could happen, or the logical ways to overcome obstacles to make things happen. And I think that this has been wearing on you a while. That's how it comes across to me. I think that you haven't really wanted to necessarily get away from interacting with this person. I think you care about this person, but you're starting to realize that if you're going to make things happen the way you want to, you have to basically limit your interactions with this person. And so I see you really moving away from interacting with this person in any kind of heavy-duty way, and moving more towards doing those things that you feel really are important to you and that you feel led to do, in spite of this other person, naysaying everything about your ideas or your plans. Now, as you are moving on and sort of moving away from interacting with this person, we have some other things that are happening too. It looks like there's somebody around you who has been pretending for a while that they're happy in their life and fulfilled and happy and satisfied in a particular situation. They have been pretending this for a while, and they continue to keep this pretense up even as you're moving away from the situation with the naysayer. Also at the same time, this is really kind of expanding on the idea of moving away from the naysayer and following your own intuition and your own heart. You are taking control of your life. You're making decisions based on what makes sense to you. And as you move away from the naysayer, you're having opportunities that are just popping up in front of you. You're seeing these opportunities that you can actually, use these opportunities to help you to move forward. And this actually brings about some reasons for you to celebrate during this time frame. I'm liking that. La da 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 da. You get away from the naysayer's brainwashing and you start to think some good things can happen, and they start happening. Whoop whoop. Okay, and then how we see you at the end of the week. Really what we see here is we see you deciding to take a break from something and really think things through, figure out, okay, where do I want to go from here? And then after you have had a chance to think things through, you're walking away from something. I kind of wonder if it's not that naysayer hasn't sort of crept back in to communicate with you, and you're starting to realize, this isn't working. I'm going to have to do something else to limit the not transactions, the interactions between me and this other person. So where before you were limiting interactions, I think once we get to the end of the week, you are just cutting off interactions. And the reason you're cutting off interactions with this person, this naysaying person, is because the relationship that you guys have developed together is turning out to be something that's pretty toxic, and you're just not willing to continue down a toxic path with anybody, Gemini. Okay, so that's that time frame. I'm going to take a little break and come back, and we'll do a little bit more. Okay, Gemini, we are back, and this time we're going to be looking at the time frame from August 9th through August 15th. See what comes up here. Thank you so much for watching this video, and thank you for returning to it. Thank you also though for sharing it with others who may find it useful as well. And you can scroll through this part if you would like to. Okay, so Geminis, let's look at environment, August 9th through August 15th. Not really liking what I'm seeing on your environment. It looks like things are tight. Things may be cramped physically, actually, in your environment, or it could be that money is tight around your environment. And it seems like this has you feeling pretty limited or restricted. You're not feeling like you can do your spur of the moment, impulsive things that you might normally like to do, Geminis. Alright, well that's not the most auspicious start for this time frame. Let's see what else happens. See what else happens. Maybe it'll get better, right? Okay, so Gemini, subconscious leanings. Wow, you're thinking about moving. The environment must really not be the most best. The bestest. Most best. Must not be the best right now. You are really, actually, Geminis, a lot of you are thinking about moving to some place that you actually like much better than where you are. And in your subconscious, you're working on, how can I be released from my lease? Or how can I get this mortgage taken care of? You know, how can I pull this off? How can I pull off a move to a place that I'm going to enjoy more? That's what's going on in your subconscious, Geminis. Let's look at learning style. You're learning a lot about money and financial matters during this time frame, definitely. Your curiosity is leading you to learn about it and to find ways to handle money. I don't know if I want to say creatively, although I do think it applies to a lot of you, but in a ways that work advantageously for you. Shall we say that? Maybe you're looking at different investment techniques or different ways about paying off a mortgage or a lease, or maybe you're looking at, if you want to move, maybe what you're looking at is, how do I rent my property out? You know, how do I make that a profitable endeavor so that I can move? You know, there's just stuff that has to do with money that you're learning about, and I think that you're finding the information that you need here from what I can see. Now, as far as your communication style, you're talking about money. That may be why you're learning about it, is because you're talking about it. You're hearing from other people. You may be even looking at getting some type of a bridge loan here, for those of you who know what that is. It looks like that could be something that you're talking to somebody about. La da 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 da. But it doesn't look to me like you want to move in like a reckless manner or a chaotic manner. It looks like all of this information that you're gathering about how to handle this financially, you also not only want to just be able to pull it off, but you want to be able to pull this off in a peaceful, graceful type of way, not in something that's chaotic and scattered. And I think that you are communicating about that as well. You may even be making plans with others in your tribe about how you can make that happen. Okay. Next, we are looking at work. What's going on here with work, guys? Okay, so you guys remember I do look at work two different ways. So we're going to look at outer work first, or how you make a living or feel productive in the community. It looks like paydays are not coming in as fast as what you're expecting them to, and it looks like you may be feeling really depressed about the work that you're actually doing, or in some cases the work that you're not doing. And at the same time, I have a card that indicates that this is a good time for work. How is that? When payments are coming in slow and you're feeling depressed, I'm not sure what's going on and how this can be a good time for work. I think we're going to break this down a little bit because I don't really understand how that can all be happening at the same time together. Do y'all? We're going to take a peek here. I normally don't do that on these videos because they're long enough. I think you have good work offers that are coming in from far away because you have a good reputation. And these offers are offers of like new beginnings at a place where, you know, you feel like you could spend the rest of your life working. But, you know, there is, you know, it's a burden to start something new, and it's kind of unknown, and it may actually be isolated. So I think you've got some offers coming in. Things aren't going so well where you are, but you have some offers coming in about work that actually probably would cause you to move. Probably would cause you to move. Okay, and it's like your reputation precedes you, so people know what type of work you do, you know, what type of job you do. They're expecting that you would be somebody who would be able to do exactly what they need you to do, maybe even more. So that's where the good luck is coming in. So even though you're not very happy with where you are and the pay is coming slow with what you are doing, there is an offer coming in, but it does look like that offer is a distance away. And that may be what has you feeling a little bit depressed, like you're not exactly sure how to swing that or how to pull that off. Okay, let's look at inner work then. Now that we've got that sorted out. So it looks like your inner work really right now is to focus on the positive that is coming up. It does look like what you're in at the moment has been sort of a rough cycle, or is sort of a rough cycle, August the 9th through the 15th. And your inner work is just to stay focused on, well, yep, that's fine, but better things are coming, and that's what I'm focusing on, instead of letting yourself focus on what's going on right now and letting yourself hit that down energy. You're really working on keeping yourself positive and keeping up. Now, we're looking next on that part of your personality, which is being grown or expanded right now. Generosity right now is kind of out the door, where you may have been doing a lot of things for a lot of other people and just not even thinking twice about it before. That's pretty much done, and that's done because you're stashing things away. You are preparing for the future, and you know that you have something coming up that you're going to have to do. And so, yeah, you're just all about stashing that money away. And so generosity of little things, you know, buying somebody a few cigarettes here or there, or whatever it is that you've been doing for somebody, helping them with this or with that. You're not so much doing that because right now you're focusing on saving up for your own targets, your own goals that you're going to need to be accomplishing. things that you stand up for right now, Gemini. This is interesting. This is a way different focus than the last time frame. So here's the thing. You really have a lot of slow communication going on with somebody who wants to collaborate with you or work with you. This could be somebody who wants to be a romantic partner or a business partner or a friend, and they want to work on something together with you, and you're not really communicating with that person. I don't know if you've got slow communication or just no communication with this person. It may be no communication with this person, because you're feeling like, you know what, I'm better doing this by myself. I'm better going it on my own. And so whether this is in your personal life, you're better going it on your own, or whether this is in a professional thing, a professional project, either way, you're not really communicating anything about collaborating because you're not interested in a collaboration right now. And somebody may be saying something to you about, well, how come you're not? Like you always were before, or whatever. Wouldn't it be a great deal? And, you know, you're having to defend this idea that, you know what, no, I'm better off by myself here. How other people perceive you. They see you as somebody who is really great at expressing their feelings, at understanding what they feel and being able to share that. Somebody who's very warm and caring for everybody around them. They also see you as somebody that has a little too much on your plate right now, and some things are sort of falling through the cracks. But they also, I think they see you as somebody who, you're getting ready to move. They're seeing that movement coming up. They're a little worried that this might be too much on your plate to pull off that move. But I think they're seeing, you know, with them seeing your feelings and seeing how much you care about things, I think they're seeing that you really want to make this move. Or at least that's their perception of it. Whether you really want to or not might not actually be true, but their perception is that you really want to. I guess looking at your subconscious leanings, I would have to say you really want to. All right, let's look at the pivot point, or where things start to flex a little bit in this time frame. We've got a little bit of a time where you're just kind of in pity party mode. You're feeling defeated, like you don't know how to move forward. You're not really taking any action here while you're in pity party mode. And in fact, some of the responsibilities that you used to handle, you're sort of letting these go. I mean, this is a serious pity party here. We're not talking about 20 minutes of feeling sorry for yourself. If you're letting go of responsibilities that you normally handle, but definitely feeling stuck about moving forward. What's going on at the same time that you're pity partying, Geminis? La da da da, la da da da. Looks to me like you're going back to an old habit or an old way of being, an old way of thinking that never did you any good, that never got you any kind of reason to celebrate. In fact, it got you more reason to figure out how to fix things. That's what you're going back to as you're doing this pity party. We don't like that, Gemini. Turn the pity party around. What else is happening at the same time? There's definitely something going on about this whole work, where we saw you putting down responsibilities earlier. I think there's something going on with, I don't think you put those responsibilities down voluntarily. Maybe they're cutting your hours at work or something like that going on. And that is making you feel like you're losing hope about moving. That's what I think. There's something you're losing hope about because of the cutbacks at work. I mean, they could have even let you go. I wouldn't want to go that far in saying this, but it's a possibility for a few of you, maybe. And I think your intuition is really, I think what you're getting is this gut feeling that says, oh no, this is not good. This isn't going to help me move forward productively the way that I want to. This might mess up my plans, is how you're feeling. So we've got this whole pity party thing going on, and you're sliding back into self-destructive thoughts or self-destructive behaviors. We don't like that. Get out of that self-destructive stuff, because now is not the time to be self-destructive. Now is the time to be keeping your stuff together and uptight so that you can get through this successfully and come out better on top. Towards the end of the week, we do see you actually coming into some happiness, and it's surprise happiness. Kind of like in that Florence and the Machine song, Happiness, shot her in the back. That's what this looks like. You're blindsided by something that makes you happy. There's somebody here or something here that you're really enjoying. Either this is a person, you're enjoying their company, or this is a project that you're really enjoying. I don't think that you were expecting this. It just kind of shows up out of the blue. And it looks to me like this takes you out of that pity party mode into a mode where you start feeling more hopeful again. You start to see how you can make your future actually gel for you. So try to avoid the pity party altogether if you can. They're never very productive, self-destructive, because you've got good things coming just around the corner. Maybe if you know that, you can stay out of the pity party, I hope. Anyway, let me go ahead and wrap this up, take a little break, and I'll come back and we'll look at some more for you. Welcome back, Geminis. This time we are looking at August 16th through the 22nd for you. Just see what comes up. Looked like you had a big focus on moving the last week, so let's see what happens this time around. La da la da 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 la da la da da da. You guys can scroll right on past this if you want. Alrighty, Geminis, for the 16th to the 22nd, that's another week. What we have coming up for your environment. Well, you have a lot of friends in your environment. I don't see you as being very happy about your environment, but I do see you talking to a whole lot of people about your environment. So you could be, like, if you're wanting to rent your home as you move, you could be actually renting a lot, or interviewing a lot of potential tenants. You could just be talking to people about ideas about moving in, you know, how to make your environment happier. Yeah, I'm liking that there's a lot of people in this picture, and these are positive people that you're having positive interactions with. These are friendly people. Looks like you are passing along, you know, some ideas to them, and you're not happy in your environment just yet. So that is still a work in progress, but we've got some pretty decent things showing up there, even though it is just still a work in progress. Next thing we're working on for subconscious leanings. Oh goodness, oh goodness, oh goodness. Okay, remember we were talking in the previous section about self-destructive behaviors and how it's good to head them off at the pass. Don't think you did that because subconscious leanings, you're looking at some self-destructive behaviors that you went through, and now you're really having a lot of regrets about those self-destructive behaviors, and just really putting yourself, I think that you just really put yourself out there with those. You took more risk than what you would normally take as you're doing those self-destructive behaviors, and now you've got some regret about that. It may be that you told somebody how you really feel about something, and now you're wishing that you wouldn't have said anything and just kind of went with the flow. Next thing that we're looking at, though, talks to me about learning style during this particular time frame. Still looking at money, 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 money is definitely what we're learning about, and you are getting some solid information. Looks to me like you may even be getting some information about residual income, the way this is coming up here. But you want to be careful about the information that you're getting. You want to be careful about your sources to make sure your sources are reliable and that they're giving you solid information. Do your due diligence, whatever you're finding out about money. whether it has to do with residual income or otherwise, because we do have definite liar energy come up here. Normally I would say trickster, kind of tone it down a bit. This is coming up as liar energy here, pretty bold. So you want to make sure that you're doing your due diligence. If somebody tells you something, don't just take them at their word. Make sure that you back that up as well, especially if they have some kind of ulterior motive about you deciding to do one thing or another. Next thing, Gemini, is communication style right now. Communication is pretty solid. Once again, I still see you talking to people about money or ideas about money. It looks to me like there are some people that you're only giving them information like on a need-to-know basis. You're not telling them just everything all the way along. And there are other people in your life that you're communicating pretty solidly and pretty straightforward with them about what's going on and how you're not exactly 100% happy with the environment that you have right now. Okay, so we've got that knocked out. Next, let's look at workity work. Okay. All right. So let's just lay it all out there, Geminis. Looks to me like whatever work you're doing, you are definitely interacting with somebody who has strong narcissistic tendencies. Yay, you. And it looks like there's something where this person has been doing something underhanded or not being straightforward or honest. That truth is coming out during this week, and it is bringing the end to some long-term tension or disagreement. So when this truth comes out, that brings it to this particular source of tension to the end. I'm thinking that your narcissistic personality type person is not very happy. I think that the truth coming out is about them or about something that they've done. And once the truth comes out, they can no longer get away with doing that anymore. So that's what we see coming up as far as outside work. Let's look at inner work. I think inner work really has to do with the idea, and maybe this is the same person at work or maybe not, but to me it looks like this inner work really has to do with facing the facts about somebody in your life who hasn't been straight with you, who has been manipulative, who has presented things in one way when in reality they were another way. And the inner work is just accepting that this person is capable of doing that. I think you had a lot more faith in this person and expected a lot higher integrity from this person than what you've actually seen recently. And I think that just a matter for you of accepting that this is the way this person is after all. This is really difficult for you. I think that's your inner work, is just to get to that point so that you can figure out, okay, so now what do I want to do with that information? How do I want to interact with this person moving forward now that I know a little bit more about how they actually are? All right, so Gemini's next thing that we're looking at does talk to me about that part of your personality which is being grown or expanded right now. You guys, Geminis, I think that you guys are making plans to get yourselves out of some type of long-term commitment or contract. For some of you, you could be planning on how to get out of a marriage. For others of you, this could be more having to do with work or profession. But you're definitely strategizing. You're definitely planning long term. How can I be released from this? Serious agreement or contract. All right, things that you stand for right now during this time frame. You have been given some kind of opportunity and you have made the decision to move forward with that opportunity. Somebody could be giving you some flack about it. You know, maybe you're having to skip out a little bit on another commitment, maybe even that commitment that we just saw, to go ahead and move forward with this other opportunity, and you're defending the whole idea of moving forward with that opportunity. How this other person sees you, they think you'll be back. They think you'll be back. They see you as making a strong decision to to cut away from a situation or from a person. They think you're coming back. They don't think that you're going to be strong enough to keep yourself out of this employment or professional situation, this contract, or they're seeing you as coming back to a relationship that's a committed relationship. One or the other. They don't think you can actually stay out of it, Geminis. What do they know? Right? Okay, next what we're looking at is the pivot point during this week. Like what's going to happen to turn things into a little bit of a different direction. Oh, you are cutting somebody off. Definitely. And we've got pay showing up for you finally. I like that. Pay is showing up. It looks like you do have some money actually coming in here. When you have this money coming in, this makes you decide that you're cutting off something. So you may have been tolerating something because of a financial situation before that you are not tolerating now. And I see you actually taking money or things that you had stashed away out and actually using them during this time frame. So, are you moving? Did you not move because of the money situation? As this is happening, there is actually a lot of stress here. You're working really hard and you're happy all at the same time. So we've definitely got some mixed emotions going on. Whatever this person that you cut out, I think there's a lot of stress going on in that particular situation as far as for you. Maybe even a little bit of a sense of guilt, although I think you're happy with not communicating with this person, and it does allow you to focus more on work than what you have been able to for a while. Also, at the same time, wow, you're really finding some peace. You're really finding some peace in your life. I like that. You're still feeling restricted, but I think the restriction is that, you're just not allowing yourself to go back into this old situation or old contract that you've managed to pull yourself out of. And you're feeling a lot of peace in your life because you're not doing that. And you are at the same time allowing yourself to forgive the things that happened in the past. Not saying forgetting them, not saying letting them come back to the past, but you are allowing yourself to forgive those things that happened in the past. Now, how do we see you at the end of this week? You are still on a break from that person or from that professional situation that you walked away from. I think once we get to the end of the week, you're still thinking through, okay, what do I want to do with this situation ultimately? And I do see also that, you're thinking maybe I need to make this break infinite. And at the same time, you're thinking, well, but, this person really needs me. There's so much that I do to help this person. Are they going to be okay if I don't go back to that situation? And I'm talking even if it's a personal situation like a relationship, or even if it's a contract that you're leaving, you may be thinking, well, they really need me there. So I think you're really confused about which way you want to go by the time we get to the end of the week. Interesting. I didn't see that confusion coming up. Looked like your friend did, but I didn't see that. Alright, so let's wrap up this time frame and I'll come back and then we'll wrap up the whole month on the next one. Hello there, Gemini. Welcome back. This portion of the video is going to cover August 23rd through the 31st, so that's a little bit longer than a week. That's a week and 2 days. But I didn't think we needed to do 33 cards for 2 days, so we tacked it on to the end there, and we'll combine it all. If you guys don't want to witness the shuffle and the laying down of the cards, feel free to go ahead and scroll forward. Whoops, there's some cards that fell. We're going to start with these guys. We'll just put them right on the top and pull them. Okay, Geminis, we are ready to take a peek at your environment. What is going on here? This looks to me like you're making some kind of decision about your environment. You may actually be leaving your environment during this time frame, the 23rd to the 31st. You may actually be leaving the environment. You may be leaving the environment for a vacation and coming back, because I have this card that, implies a return later as well. I want to just see something really quick, because why would you leave and come back? Yeah, okay. So this is about you leaving the environment and then coming back to it after you've been away from it. So some kind of trip, whether this is a business trip, this could have been an exploratory business trip. It looks to me like this would be something where you would be finding out new information. This new information may be what makes you decide that you no longer want the environment that you have now. But I do feel like you are away from the environment that you're deciding against during this time frame, and then you do come back to it. So you must have to come back to tie up loose ends. So not actually moving yet, but definitely making that decision about moving, or about, could this be just changing the environment? Possibly, but I don't think so. I think this is more about moving it. If this is a change in the environment, like upgrading, updating, doing some repairs, something like that, then this is dramatic, drastic. All right, let's look at subconscious leanings during this time frame for you, Geminis. It does look like you are definitely thinking about picking up new responsibilities. To me, this could very well be a job in a new location. We saw that like on the first time frame of this month, that you had a job offer coming in from a new location. You may be thinking about that job and what it entails. It looks like there is some inner turmoil within you, and you are feeling a little bit confused about, I think you're feeling confused about exactly what your responsibilities would be once you make a change. So your subconscious is really trying to work on what they would be, what it is exactly that you're going to have to do once you go into this new position. So let's look, Geminis, next at learning style. And what we have coming up here, there's a lot of questions that you have that there just aren't really answers to. The questions that you're asking that you are finding the answers to are very solid, concrete answers. There's no doubt about those answers. But the things that you have questions about, you're getting answers that are a little bit hazy or a little bit shady, and you're just not quite sure if you trust those. That may be why your subconscious leaning is trying to figure out exactly what your responsibilities would be. As far as your communication style, once again, we see you talking about money, finances. How am I going to pull this off? Really planning, strategizing. There's apparently somebody important in your life that you're strategizing about money with, Geminis. And I think that for a lot of people, there's basically a blackout. There's silence for a lot of people in your life. You're not sharing particular information with them yet, and it's very much on purpose. Very much on purpose. Yeah, and I think when you are talking, you may be doing a little dancing around the mulberry bush. You're just not quite ready to share this information about the environment yet. Well, you don't really know exactly what's happening there, so kind of early to share that. You are intentionally not sharing that, though. You're making it a point to avoid that topic. All right, next let's look at work. Really, I don't think you're thinking that much about work. I don't think you're doing that much work. I think your work really has to do with getting moved. We keep having this idea of movement come up. Your work has to do with the idea of moving. Maybe it's on that trip to find out information that, that is your work. But this is really planning, changing plans, adjusting plans, and it all has to do around how am I going to pull this move off. It seems to me like whatever this move is, it's a big enough deal that you're questioning all the way through the process. You're questioning, okay, am I going to be able to pull this off? Can I really do this? It seems to me like you may be, or at least you feel like you're really stretching yourself to pull this off. But it's something that you really want, and so that's why you're stretching yourself. Now, as far as inner work, inner work has to do with your energy level. I think you're really looking at the idea that you don't feel as energetic as you would like to, considering everything going on right now. And I think you're pushing yourself to do more than what your body is used to you doing. I'm not so sure that's a positive thing. In fact, I think it's not a positive thing, but I think that you're feeling like you have to push yourself physically to accomplish the things that you want to accomplish. And this really shows up when we look at inner work as moving backwards instead of forwards. Because you're doing the opposite of taking care of yourself there. I think you feel like you have to, though. I don't think you feel like you have a choice. Okay? Now, that part of you that's being grown or expanded right now, you're finding out who your true friends are right now, that's for sure. You're finding out who are the talkers and who are the ones who actually back up those words. Okay? And it looks to me like you're finding out some people that you never would have expected, that you always thought were just the blah blahers. Those people are showing up as true friends. And so this is where you're growing and expanding right now. When you need a little help and a little extra boost, you're seeing who your true friends really are. Now, what are you standing for? There's somebody in your sphere of influence who's grumpy and not necessarily always truthful. And it looks to me like you've kind of refused to move forward with this person or to keep on trying to find information from this person. But I think you're still looking for information. I think you may be doing it in a little bit of a more sneaky way. And I think also you're letting this other person feel like you're just letting that situation drop as you continue to go ahead and search for information, but just not through this person. And I think somebody's saying something to you about, hey, why are you bypassing so-and-so? And you're defending that, I mean, it shows up here exactly why you're doing that, because this person's been not being truthful to you, so you have to bypass them. Anyway, you're defending that to somebody. How this other people sees you, this other person, they see you as somebody who is moving away from or getting over something that is toxic and that has sort of held you bound. And they see you as somebody who is taking control of your life. Taking control of your life. And they're seeing you as turning any kind of commitments that you had, as sort of turning those on their head. And I don't know if I want to say, yeah, I think I do. I want to say turning them on their head and sort of walking away from any kind of commitment that you had, because you're taking charge. The commitments that you were in before were toxic commitments, and you are walking away from that toxicity. That's how they see you. Okay, next thing that we're going to look at here, Geminis, is going to be that pivot point, or that point where things begin to change for you during this time frame. So what happens there? This is interesting. It looks like even though you're not actually moving forward, or you're not actually making a move, or at least not yet, you are finding ways to revive things that make you happy where you are. It could be that if you were going to move for business, if that was the plan all this time and you were so unhappy in the environment that you were in, it could be that your employer or your business partner has gotten wind of this, And they're saying, wait, don't do it. We'll pay you a bonus. We'll pay you more. We'll be more respectful. We'll give you better hours. We'll do whatever. They're basically, they're trying to renew your interest in that old agreement with them. So they're realizing that you're ready to just break those old agreements, and you don't really care that they're binding. And so they're starting to try to figure out how to sweeten the pot, because they don't want you to break those agreements. What else is happening here? You are taking some time to think about these offers that they're making you. And you're feeling like this could be actually exactly what you want without even having to move. Look at that, Gemini. What else is happening? I want you guys to be really prepared here. Do all your due diligence, all the due diligence you can, especially regarding this offer from whatever it was that you were leaving, that your other person felt like was toxic. And the reason I'm saying that is I've got not one but two cards here that are showing me there is information that is being hidden from you. There is a trickster who is talking to you and convincing you of stuff. To me, this could be that same narcissistic character that we saw earlier in the month is trying to lure you into telling you anything that you want to hear. But the truth is that even though they're saying they're sweetening the pot, what they're saying and what's really going to happen when the rubber meets the road is not anywhere near as good as they're trying to let you think it is right now. So I want you to be really, really careful about that. Very careful about your decision-making process there. At the end of the week, we do see you happy. Here's a payday here. This is going to be a bonus, or this is going to be, I really think you decide not to move. I think this is that original bonus that the person offered you, or original pay raise that they offered you. Maybe they just told you, we'll get you your pay on time. Remember before we saw those delayed payments? Maybe they just said, well, we'll get you your pay on time. And you're starting to feel better. You're starting to feel more happy, more secure in this place. Be careful. Be careful. Somebody who has narcissistic tendencies does not move away from those overnight. They don't suddenly wake up and say, I think I'm going to tell the truth today. That doesn't happen. Be careful with that decision. We don't see what happens after the end of this week yet in this reading, but I'm really concerned that once we start looking at September, we'll start seeing that you're not happy again, and now that opportunity, you've shut the door on it. So we'll find out about that later, but definitely be careful when you make this decision. Make sure that you don't make this decision based on words only from somebody who you already know is not shooting straight with you anyway. Okay? So that's your month, Geminis. Thank you so much for being here, for sharing this video, and for putting thumbs ups on it. Thank you also to those of you who are ordering private readings from me. It's because of all of you guys' support that I'm able to do what I love to do for my living. So thank you once again. Namaste, everyone.